In the fading hush before dawn, when the floodplain still lies wrapped in layers of mist, a single heartbeat breaks the silence. It is faint at first, uneven, unsure, but it grows with every passing second. Inside a shallow nest carved along a ridge of hardened mud, a small creature stirs beneath fragments of the shell that once shielded it from the world. Its breath emerges as thin wisps of vapor in the chill morning air. And with a final tremor, the shell collapses, revealing a pair of amber eyes blinking into existence for the very first time. The juvenile Tyrannosaurus rex rises shakily on its newly formed limbs, legs trembling under the weight they've never held before. The world around it is enormous. Unfamiliar shapes loom like mountains. Distant sounds echo across the plains with frightening clarity. Every scent burns sharp and new in its nose. The metallic tang of wet clay, the sweet ferment of rotting leaves, the musk of small creatures burrowed within the soil. Life arrives all at once, overwhelming and intoxicating. The young predator lifts its head. Instinct, ancient, encoded, unspoken, tugs at its senses, urging it to explore. The hatchling steps beyond the lip of the nest, where ferns sway gently in a pre-dawn breeze. Their fronds brush its sides as it moves through them, each touch awakening another piece of instinct lying dormant within its small frame. Some scents feel unfamiliar, but others spark a primitive recognition. The lingering scent of adults, the ghostly presence of dangers it cannot yet imagine. The sky begins to brighten. Streaks of orange spill across the horizon, melting into the purple veil of receding night. In this rising glow, the juvenile takes its first true steps into the world. At first they are clumsy. Each foot sinks deeper into the mud than expected, but soon the small predator begins to understand how to shift its weight, how to lean forward, how to hold its tail like a counterbalanced beam guiding each wobbly stride. A chorus of distant cries sends a shiver down its spine. They come from everywhere, migrating herds along the far riverbanks, screeching raptors hidden in dense brush, the low rumble of something huge shifting in the distance. The juvenile freezes, breath held, heart pounding, but nothing emerges. The land simply wakes around it, alive with 1,000 voices woven together into one sprawling symphony. Soon the juvenile breathes again and continues forward. Hours pass beneath the rising sun. Heat spreads slowly across the floodplain, lifting the mist and revealing a terrain carved by rivers, dotted with marshes, and crowned by towering conifers. Shadows stretch long across the earth. The juvenile follows them, guided by curiosity more than purpose. It pokes its snout into hollow logs, sending startled insects skyward in frantic spirals. It tastes leaves, spits them out, then bites again to be sure. It nudges a stone, watching it tumble down a gentle slope before chasing after it as though it were prey. But innocence cannot shield it forever. Before midday, the first true threat arrives. Across the plain, a shrill cry rings out, sharp enough to pierce the juvenile's chest like a blade. It ducks instinctively. A blur of movement cuts across tall grass, a feathered form, lean and fast. A Dakotaraptor. Another flashes behind it. Then another. 3. A small hunting band. The juvenile stiffens. The raptors have not yet seen it, but their path is closing in. Instinct screams. Run. The young rex bolts, legs pumping wildly, tail swinging in chaotic arcs. Grass and reeds whip past its flanks as it sprints, breath snatching in frantic bursts. Behind it, the Dakotaraptors give chase, silent at first, then erupting with fierce trills as they tighten their pursuit. For the first time, the juvenile understands what it means to be hunted. It zigzags instinctively, feet slipping on patches of wet soil. Panic fires through its body. The raptors close the gap, their strides long, movements fluid. One lunges, jaws snapping just shy of the juvenile's tail. The young rex stumbles, recovers, and pushes harder. Its heart hammers so fast it begins to feel like the world is vibrating around it. Just as the raptors prepare another coordinated strike, sunlight glints off something ahead, a fallen log bridging a shallow ditch. The juvenile lunges toward it, squeezing its tiny body beneath the narrow passage. Its claws scrape across the bark, its ribs compress painfully, but it makes it through. The raptors do not. They skid to a stop, claws slashing at the earth, screeching in frustration. One attempts to force itself beneath the log, but becomes wedged by its broad hips. Another tries to leap over the ditch, but miscalculates, tumbling sideways in a mess of feathers and dust. For a brief moment, their coordination fractures. The juvenile does not wait. It flees deeper into thick brush, weaving between ferns and roots until the raptor's cries fade behind it. Only when silence returns does the young predator collapse into a bed of soft moss, trembling violently. Its lungs burn. Its legs ache. Its heart seems unable to settle. But slowly, the shakes subside. The juvenile has learned its first rule of the world. To survive, it must grow stronger. As afternoon heat settles across the floodplain, the young Rex rises once more. The fear still lingers, but beneath it, something new begins to take hold. A spark, a hunger, a quiet shift from innocence to awareness. It moves carefully now, observing rather than charging blindly. It watches the movements of small mammals flitting across branches, studies how herbivores lower their heads before fleeing, and listens to the cadence of distant roars echoing through the valley. Each moment becomes a lesson. Each lesson becomes a tool. By evening, the sky bleeds into a canvas of crimson and gold, the floodplain awash in firelight. The juvenile stands atop a low ridge, bathed in the glow, watching shadows dance far across the plains. It does not yet understand what it will become, but the land does. Everything in this world, predator, prey, forest, and river, waits for the day this fragile creature rises into its rightful place. And the journey has only just begun. Time reshapes everything on the floodplain. Seasons pass, storms carve new paths through the soil, and the small predator once trembling in the shadows rises into a creature of height, weight, and ferocity. The juvenile Tyrannosaurus rex, fragile and unsure, is gone. What now roams the grasslands is a subadult, leaner than its future form, yet powerful in ways the young version could never imagine. Its steps carry purpose. Its eyes hold calculation. Its instincts sharpen like the edge of a blade. Still, this world is far from conquered. The floodplain stretches endlessly beneath the late morning sun, shimmering with pockets of heat. Herds of Thessalosaurus scurry between groves of horsetails, their movements synchronized like rippling water. Towering Edmontosaurus graze along riverbanks, their sheer size casting long shadows across the reed beds. Above, pterosaurs glide in effortless circles, scanning the wetlands for opportunity. The subadult Rex moves through this ecosystem quietly, not out of fear, but out of strategy. Every creature here remembers the small, clumsy hatchling. Now they sense something different, potential danger. The Rex's body has lengthened, muscles tightening across its limbs like coiled cables. Its tail sweeps behind it with commanding control. Each stride becomes smoother, more deliberate. Yet it is trapped between worlds, no longer small enough to be dismissed, but not yet massive enough to command space with its presence alone. And in this in-between stage, predators face trials that shape their future. Midday heat presses down as the subadult approaches a shallow creek cutting through the terrain. The water carries the scent of fish, decaying vegetation, and something sharper, blood. Recently spilled, recently lost. Curiosity compels the Rex forward. Its nostrils flare, drawing threads of scent into the labyrinth of its sinuses, reading the story woven into the air. Something hunted here, something large. It steps closer, claws sinking into mud as the water ripples gently. There, along the bank, lie deep impressions, tracks wide enough to swallow its foot inside their outline. The subadult lowers its head, studying them. An adult Tyrannosaurus rex, its own kind. The realization stirs a mix of instinctive caution and restless fascination. It is not ready to challenge an adult, not yet. Their presence alone could eclipse its strength entirely. But this track is a reminder. One day, the subadult will stand among these giants. One day, it must claim its territory. For now, however, the Rex withdraws, stepping back into the tall grass with measured silence. Clouds build overhead as the day stretches on, transforming gold light into a muted gray haze. The wind shifts, carrying the scent of approaching rainfall. Across the horizon, distant thunder murmurs like an ancient creature turning in its sleep. The floodplain prepares for the storm, and so does the Rex. The subadult moves toward a high ridge overlooking a cluster of lowland marshes. From this vantage, it surveys the terrain, watching the herds reposition themselves ahead of the storm. Herbivores cluster toward higher ground. Raptors vanish into dense thickets. Even insects change their behavior, forming restless swarms low to the ground. Then, it sees opportunity. A lone Edmontosaurus juvenile lagging behind its herd. Too slow, too distracted, too far from protection. The subadult's heart quickens. This is the moment it has been waiting for. No more scavenging from kills left by larger predators. No more stealing scraps from distracted raptors. Today, it hunts on its own terms. Rain begins to fall in sparse droplets, darkening patches of soil as the Rex descends the ridge. Its muscles coil with anticipation, rehearsing movement patterns it has studied from a distance. Stalk from downwind, lower the head to narrow its silhouette, keep weight balanced on hind limbs. The hunt is not a reckless charge. It is a ritual. The predator advances. Wind masks its scent. Rain softens its footfalls. The juvenile Edmontosaurus lifts its head nervously, sensing something but unable to pinpoint the threat. Its herd has already moved too far ahead to notice its growing unease. The subadult shifts left, tail sweeping elegantly behind. Then it sprints. Mud explodes beneath its feet. Ferns whip violently as the Rex tears through them. The air fills with the sound of rushing power, raw, accelerating force. The Edmontosaurus bolts, legs churning as panic surges through its body. It cries out, desperate for the herd to return. But thunder swallows its voice. Wind drowns its plea. Only the Rex hears its struggle, and only the Rex answers. The distance closes rapidly. The predator's strides lengthen, gaining momentum with each footfall. The subadult drives itself forward with primal precision, lungs pulling in air as fast as its growing body can manage. Rain blurs its vision, but instinct guides its trajectory. The young herbivore stumbles on a slick route. Just one misstep. The Rex lunges. Its jaws clamp down on the Edmontosaurus's flank with force that dwarfs anything it has ever produced. The impact knocks both animals off balance, sending them sliding through a sheet of wet mud. The herbivore screams, legs thrashing wildly, kicking up sprays of soil. The Rex tightens its grip, twisting its neck to counter the struggle. For the first time, it feels the true weight of a kill. The resistance, the desperation, the moment life shifts from one creature to another. It is horrifying. It is necessary. It is transformative. When the thrashing slows, the Rex releases its hold, panting heavily. The storm breaks fully overhead, unleashing sheets of rain that wash blood across the mud. Lightning flickers in the distance, illuminating the raw triumph carved into the landscape. The subadult steps back, chest heaving. It has succeeded. Not by luck, not by scavenging, not by accident. This was a hunt it earned. The predator lowers its head and feeds. Rain patters across its back. Thunder rolls over the plains. The world around it bends momentarily to its rising power. Tonight, the floodplain acknowledges a new force. Not yet an apex, but no longer a shadow in the grass. The subadult Tyrannosaurus Rex has begun its ascent. Years reshape the floodplain once more. The shifting rivers carve new channels. The wet season returns with renewed fury, and forests thicken where fire once burned. But no transformation is more profound than the one written into the bones of the predator who has survived here since birth. The subadult Tyrannosaurus Rex, once lean and rising, has grown into something immense, something legendary. Strength has layered across its frame like armor. Its skull has thickened into a weapon forged by evolution. Its eyes, once filled with curiosity, now carry the steady, unshakable gaze of a ruler who has seen every corner of this domain and endured everything it has tried to take from it. The floodplain belongs to many creatures, but it answers to only one. Morning breaks wide across the valley as the adult Rex stands on a low plateau overlooking the sprawling wetlands. Mist coils around its legs, drifting away with each slow exhale. From here, it can see the constant dance of life. Herds shifting like tides, predators weaving through pockets of cover, the distant splash of a giant turtle plunging into deeper waters. Every movement is cataloged, every sound interpreted. The predator understands this land now, not as a battlefield, but as an extension of itself. Yet even apexes are not without challenges. A deep vibration travels through the ground, subtle but unmistakable. The Rex lifts its head, muscles tightening along its neck. Another tremor follows. Not distant thunder, not shifting earth. Footsteps. Enormous ones. The adult moves carefully down the slope, each step purposeful. Its claws grip the softened soil, leaving deep impressions in the waking mud. As the mist clears, a colossal shape materializes in the lowland canyon ahead. A vast silhouette armored in plates of bone, each larger than the Rex's skull. An ankylosaurus. Old, scarred, relentless. Their paths cross so rarely. But when they do, the world holds its breath. The ankylosaurus grazes calmly at first, unaware or unconcerned by the approaching titan. Its tail, ending in a massive club of fused bone, sways slowly, an unspoken warning. The Rex studies it from a distance. Instinct whispers caution. Experience reminds it that even apex predators must choose battles with wisdom. But the ankylosaurus turns, raising its head. Its eyes lock with the Rex's. Challenge. No words, just understanding. The floodplain falls silent. Wind stills. Flocks of small birds rise abruptly from nearby trees. Even insects scatter as the two giants square their bodies, a ritual as old as the era itself. The ankylosaurus plants its feet, tail curling into a poised arc. The Rex lowers its skull, every muscle primed to strike. The duel begins. Dust erupts as the ankylosaurus charges forward, surprisingly fast for its weight. The Rex pivots left, its claws carving trenches into the earth. The armored titan swings its club, the air screaming around it. The Rex barely dodges, feeling the wind of the strike graze its ribs. One hit, just one, could shatter bone. The Rex lunges, jaws snapping inches from the ankylosaurus's shoulder blades. Its teeth scrape against armor, sending sparks of pain up its jaw. The ankylosaurus retaliates with a low, rumbling grunt and swings again. The club catches the Rex's thigh, a glancing blow, but powerful enough to send shockwaves up the predator's leg. The Rex roars, a sound that rolls across the floodplain like thunder tearing the sky apart. It circles, waits, reads the titan's patterns. The ankylosaurus turns slower this time. Age weighs heavily upon it, and the Rex sees the first opening. The predator feints left. The herbivore swings. The Rex ducks underneath the arc of the club, surging forward with explosive strength. Its jaws clamp onto the exposed side, flesh unprotected by armor. The ankylosaurus bellows, twisting with surprising force, dragging the Rex sideways. The two giants wrestle, mud splattering across their bodies. But the Rex holds firm. Its skull, built for crushing bone, tightens around the vulnerable tissue until the armored titan weakens, stumbling under the weight of exhaustion and injury. The battle ends not with a final roar, but with a quiet, heavy collapse. The ankylosaurus, fierce guardian of the floodplain, sinks into the mud. Its sides rise and fall slowly, then still. The Rex releases its grip and steps back, chest heaving. Every muscle trembles, not with weakness, but with the raw magnitude of a battle only few creatures in all history would ever dare to fight. A hush falls across the wetlands. Nearby herds freeze in reverent silence. Raptors retreat into reeds. Even the wind seems to bow. The predator stands victorious. But victory is not celebration. It is responsibility. The adult Rex lifts its head toward the horizon, amber eyes reflecting the dimming afternoon light. This world is brutal, unpredictable, and ever-changing. But it is also beautiful, a living tapestry woven from survival, instinct, and power. And the Rex, forged from helpless beginnings into this towering monarch, now stands as the floodplain's ultimate expression of life's unbroken will. As the sun sinks behind conifer shadows, the predator walks along the river's edge, leaving massive footprints that begin filling softly with reflected sunset light. Its journey has defined it, its trials have sculpted it, and its triumphs, earned through teeth, muscle, and resilience, echo across the ancient world. Night gathers slowly. Stars emerge above the damp horizon. Across the plain, distant calls rise, some fearful, some defiant, some simply acknowledging the apex now moving through the darkening land. The Tyrannosaurus Rex pauses, the cool wind brushing past its scarred hide. A final breath expands its colossal chest. It is no longer becoming. It is the ruler, the hunter, the force that shapes the floodplain. An apex, not because it dominates, but because it has survived everything this world demanded. And as moonlight glints along the river, the great predator fades into the night, carrying the legacy of an era in every thunderous step.